Tonight at 11 and 11:30 on Fox 35. Fox 35 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Melissa Rayberger.
And I'm Brad Stevens. We begin tonight with a tragic story out of Melbourne. A 15-year-old boy dead after he and a 17-year-old girl leaped from the Melbourne Causeway late this afternoon. She survived, but Douglas McKellar of Melbourne Beach died at the hospital. Now, the two jumped from the highest point of the bridge. That's about 55 feet above the Indian River, and police still aren't sure why they jumped.
You've heard the allegations. Over the weekend, a Boy Scout leader accused of trying to molest young boys.
Tonight, we have reaction from Boy Scouts of America. Fox 35's Mike Anderson is live tonight from the group's Central Florida headquarters. And Mike, what are the council leaders saying about all of this?
Well, Brad, as you can imagine, as parents and volunteers, we're all very shocked. Leaders here at the local council also very surprised, especially since the Boy Scouts of America has a program designed to teach scouts and parents how to avoid these situations, and now there are even plans to improve on that program. He's a man Boy Scouts were supposed to look up to. Instead, police say 50-year-old Robert Leroy King tried to take advantage of 3 boys inside his Titusville home. The assistant scoutmaster allegedly showed the boys pornography, exposed himself, and tried to disrobe one of them. Assistant Director of the Central Florida Council, Mike Bernhard, finds this frustrating, especially since the Boy Scouts of America has programs designed to scare off potential sex offenders.
In this case, it's very, very disheartening to all the volunteer leaders and myself as a career scouter that something like this would happen. But we've addressed it, and we're going to continue to address these things so that they won't be part of the program. They have no place in the Boy Scouts of America.
Mechanism in place to recognize a molester.
Through the youth protection program, scouts and volunteers are taught how to deal with those situations and are shown this hour-long training video.
I hope that that is the kind of thing that stops this and puts this person here not being able to be involved in scouting at all whatsoever. They are out of scouting. They are out.
But the organization has decided that is not enough. In a major investment of time and money, all volunteers will undergo background checks by next April.
That's our key thing, is to keep children safe and the Boy Scouts in the program safe. And so that is just a cost we just have.
Of course, with background checks, there is no way to detect the first-time offenders. Local leaders say that is where the training comes in. Now, as a general rule, sex offenders are not allowed to become scout volunteers. They can petition that rule, but it is generally very hard to overcome that. We're live in Apopka. Mike Anderson, Fox 35 News.
Yeah, you're right. It is a tough problem. Let's talk about locally, Mike. What are scout leaders doing to respond to all these allegations?
Well, Brad, on the local level, they say they are constantly looking at that education program, looking at ways to build on it and improve it, and they plan to just keep on doing that, Brad.
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, DELAND's top cop is taking some heat. Will Chief Anderson be fired?
Or are the charges against him based on unfounded accusations? It was one of the top discussions at tonight's City Hall meeting. Our David Martin is live now with details.
Good evening, Melissa, and a long topic it was. 3 hours, taking us right up to showtime, and the controversial public meeting was all about DELAND's police chief, William Anderson. Is he mistreating employees? If the majority of the citizens in this room could wear the shirt this guy's wearing, then they would. The local police chief is William Anderson, and he showed up tonight to a city commissioners meeting that was all about him.
I want to say definitely that this chief has implemented a lot of positive things. The problem is it's been heavily overshadowed by his management skills.
That's Commissioner Maureen France. She's the elected official that most of Anderson's supporters have a problem with. France is not happy with the recent complaints that have come out of DELAND's police department. Complaints that Anderson is a gruff micromanager.
We've had approximately a third of our department leave. I've looked at the fact there are 3 women that have filed EEOC discrimination complaints, and I'm told that have been found just cause.
First up on the long list of public comments scheduled tonight was David Staples of the local NAACP.
But it strikes us rather odd how only one commissioner, and not even the mayor, have pursued this issue to the nth degree that you have.
In other words, Staples wants France to butt out of Anderson's career, leave him alone. He argued that legally, the hiring and firing of a police chief rests with this guy, Michael Abels, the city manager. There was other public comment.
I don't know the chief. I've met him. He seems very pleasant. He certainly has a lot of people in support of him. But I wonder how many people behind me have worked for him or with him. And the only thing that you are to consider in this problem are the pros and cons of the people who work for him.
So, what about Chief Anderson? What's he had to say about his management style? He has admitted to some weaknesses as a chief, but are they enough to resign over? We don't know. He won't talk to us. He has nothing to say to the press about this topic. So that leaves us back to the city manager of DELAND. He has to decide whether or not Chief Anderson stays or goes, and he has a lot to soak in and absorb after tonight's long meeting. We're live in DELAND, Volusia County. David Martin, Fox 35 News.
We know you'll be following it for us, David. Thank you.
Sobering holiday weekend statistics from the Florida Highway Patrol. 40 people were killed in crashes from Thursday until late last night in Florida. Now, most of those people were not wearing their seatbelts, and most of those crashes were alcohol-related. Highway Patrol officers say 80% of those fatal accidents happened after dark.
Fire destroyed an empty hotel in Kissimmee early this morning. Flames were through the roof by the time firefighters arrived at the scene on West 192. The building was in foreclosure and is a total loss.
There were 16 units in this building, and right now they're all just destroyed.
Investigators will look at wiring or the possibility that vagrants may have started that fire.
More people are sick aboard a Florida-based cruise ship. Carnival Cruise Line's ship Fascination sailed into a Miami port this morning with 190 passengers and 3 crew members sick with a gastrointestinal virus. Carnival says there's nothing it could have done to prevent its guests from contracting the virus. Workers with the Centers for Disease Control met the ship this morning to supervise another scrub down. Now let's talk some weather now, and what a nice fall day today.
If you're going outside tonight, better grab a jacket. Jim, it is chilly outside.
It is already getting cold under those clear skies. What a nice afternoon, but today, well, once the sun set, those temperatures really began to fall fast, and we do have some freeze warnings out there tonight to talk about as well. Let's talk about those morning lows. Our cold spot was Brookesville. 29 this morning is where we started. 10 degrees better than that in Leesburg. Just above freezing in Gainesville, and around Orlando we started at 42. We ended up at 69 for high today. Both of those are below the averages considerably for this time of year. Weather and your health tonight, air quality and mold spores are in a light category. Grasses and elms showing up just a little bit. And as you plan your day, it'll be another cold start. 42 in town, 30s elsewhere. In the rural areas, we'll see partly cloudy skies and a nice warm up again. So the bottom line will be once the sun shines, temperatures will be pleasant, but we'll still have some cold nights. Let's talk about that freeze warning, what you can do to prepare tonight, and also what you can expect over the next 7 days. There will be some thunderstorms in the forecast for the next few days, and we'll talk about that coming up.
Some say it's about fairness.
Others say it's about an agenda. Coming up, the latest on a controversial gay ordinance. A familiar name is attached to a deadly bombing in Kenya. And the shuttle is on its way home with some very happy passengers.
If you haven't seen 24,
Give me a name! If you lay a hand on me, you'll be taken off the case.
this is the episode you must not miss.
You were gonna tell me everything I want to know, and I will kill you.
24. Tonight at 9 on Fox 35.
I think you should wear a tie.
Dad, nobody wears ties to school.
Tie says you're serious. It'll make a good impression. And remember, you're there to study,
to learn, and to make something of myself. I got it.
Almost half of all UNCF students are the first in their family to go to college.
They have some great architecture classes.
Dad, I'm not really interested in architecture.
Well, keep your options open. And remember, no girls until your
my work is done.
And I'd make sure that I got my lunch.
Dad, you're not going. I am.
I know.
Listen, we better get going. Don't want to be late the first day anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're the first to go, you're going for a lot of people. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Your generous support has made it possible for United Way to help build strong communities across America for over 100 years. Thank you. Now more than ever, it's crucial that we maintain the strength and vitality of our neighborhoods, towns, and cities. United Way is active in local communities 365 days a year, making a measurable difference in the lives of Americans. Helping local communities identify pressing issues and opportunities and committing the resources necessary to address them. United Way helps to strengthen America one community at a time. Your local United Way has relied on your generous support for years. Your community is counting on you. Please continue to support your local United Way. Strong communities mean a stronger America.
Bernie is shocked to find Vanessa's secret is the same as Victoria's.
They're cute. Yeah, if you plan on being a teenage mama.
Bernie Mac.
Wednesday at 8 on Fox 35.
Iraqi forces fired at a U.S. patrol plane in the no-fly zone. An airstrike was launched in response. The no-fly zones are set up over southern and northern Iraq to protect the Muslim minorities. UN arms inspectors say some equipment was missing from an Iraqi missile factory.
Meanwhile, President Bush has signed a defense spending bill at the Pentagon that provides extra billions for the war on terrorism. UN weapons inspectors say some equipment is missing from an Iraqi missile site. It had been tagged by previous inspectors in 1998. Still, on day 5 of their search, weapons inspectors say publicly they're able to do their job.
We have no problem of access. Everything went well.
But the Bush administration remains skeptical.
So far, the signs are not encouraging.
President Bush isn't convinced weapons inspections in Iraq are going well.
The inspectors are not in Iraq to play hide and seek with Mr. Saddam Hussein.
The president signing the biggest Pentagon budget increase in a generation. And it comes at a time when it appears the U.S. may well be heading toward military action against Saddam Hussein. Vice President Cheney in Denver also blasted away at the Iraqi leader.
Saddam Hussein is harboring terrorists and the instruments of terror. He is pressing forward with weapons of mass destruction.
And in London, Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Wolfowitz compared Saddam Hussein to former Yugoslav leader Slobodan Milosevic.
And the truth is, I don't think we do all know how bad Saddam Hussein is. We all knew how bad Milosevic is. Well, Milosevic is a Sunday school teacher compared to Saddam Hussein.
President Bush says by Sunday, Hussein must completely declare Iraq's weapons of mass destruction programs. White House officials say the U.S. won't believe it if Saddam tries to claim that he's clean.
If the U.S. military pays Saddam Hussein a second visit, they'll bring along some interesting new toys. Smart bombs were just the beginning. Now we have satellite imaging, laser-guided grenades, and pilotless airplanes. Fox's Brett Baer has the story.
In the first Gulf War, the U.S. unleashed new fighter jets to bombard Iraq. Now, if there is a Gulf War II, the U.S. military will be using some new high-tech weapons to crush the Iraqi regime.
Part of this, I think, is going to be Buck Rogers, high-tech, satellite imagery. A lot of it is going to be just traditional soldiering directly on the ground.
While military planners still expect to use a massive air campaign and a powerful ground force, experts believe an urban battle in Baghdad is going to be a combination of basic soldiering and a high-tech, satellite, computerized battlefield.
Urban operations are always extraordinarily challenging.
Shutting down the Iraqis' computer systems is a high priority that could call for a new high-tech weapon, still in development, called the E-bomb, or microwave bomb. The attack could come from U.S. computers as well.
We would initiate a computer network attack through our own computers, send it all the way to the country of origin.
Military planners say pilotless drones will be pivotal, helping U.S. commandos strike with surgical precision, providing electronic eyes in the sky to see the enemy and plan U.S. ground troops' next moves. High-tech sensors will likely help locate chemical and biological weapons facilities to protect our forces. The bottom line is that the U.S. is much more high-tech than it was in Gulf War I. At the Pentagon, Brett Baer, Fox News.
The terrorist group Al-Qaeda is claiming responsibility for the Thanksgiving Day attacks on a Kenyan hotel. A truck drove through the front gate of the Israeli-owned hotel and exploded. 16 people were killed in the attacks. U.S. officials say they believe the claim is credible.
Amos King is still alive tonight. Just minutes before the convicted killer was scheduled to die in a Florida state prison, he was granted a 30-day stay. King was convicted in the 1977 rape and murder of a Tarpon Springs woman. The execution stay will allow time to run DNA tests.
Thousands of dollars ripped off from trusting customers.
Coming up, the credit card company employees facing federal charges. But first, Orlando's controversial gay ordinance goes to vote.
Give Fox 35 News 10 minutes and we'll give you everything you need to start your day.
Get your morning traffic update.
All the news you need to be informed.
And I'll let you know if an umbrella is in your forecast.
Get everything you need to start your day off right.
Traffic, news, and weather every 10 minutes on the Fox 35 Morning News from 6 to 9.
Fox Tuesday. You're dating my math teacher?
I feel it's just awfully bad principal.
He doesn't care. He's dating the cheerleader.
You're invited to a Thanksgiving celebration. You're back, and you're not even 8 months pregnant. On an all-new That 70s Show.
Who likes dark meat?
Who doesn't? Am I right, ladies?
Tonight at 8 on Fox 35.
Fox Wednesday. Ernie is shocked to find Vanessa's secret is the same as Victoria's.
What kind of girl walking around with panty balls like this?
So you wouldn't see her panty lines.
Panty line?
Will he get his panties all in a bunch?
I'm not raising no hoochie girl up in this house.
No wonder Hoochie, she wears thong fanny.
Bernie Mac.
Wednesday at 8 on Fox 35.
To you, this is a place to hang a coat. To someone else, it's a place to teach a child a lesson he'll never forget. Preventing child abuse and neglect doesn't just mean reporting it. It means stopping it before it starts. Find out how at preventchildabuse.org or 1-800-CHILDREN. A child is helpless. You are not.
Racial steering is illegal. If you think you've been a victim, call the National Fair Housing Alliance. We'll respond within 24 hours and help you take action.
Supporters say it's a brave and progressive decision. Opponents say it's just the beginning of a gay agenda in Central Florida.
Fox 35's Keith Landry joins us with details on a new ordinance to protect gays and lesbians from discrimination in Orlando.
Brad and Melissa, the debate over this ordinance has been a clash of the titans. 150 people from each side addressed the city council at 2 meetings trying to sway their votes. And finally, in the end tonight, by a 4-3 vote, the council passed new protections against discrimination for gays and lesbians in Orlando. It's been Orlando's great debate over the last 3 years. Should the city have an ordinance to protect gays and lesbians from discrimination when they seek jobs, housing, and public accommodations? Both sides made their last appeals tonight.
No one in the city, driven by the principle of rationality, should oppose the clear call to table discrimination and the violence it spawns.
It doesn't stop here, it just begins. This is the first step, an incremental step in a broader agenda, and that's why I believe it's dangerous for Florida and for Central Floridians.
Matt Staver is president of the Liberty Council, a group asking Mayor Hood to veto the ordinance. Staver says business owners will have to hire lots of lawyers because gays and lesbians will sue if they apply for jobs and don't get hired.
This is just the first step of a larger agenda. That larger agenda will ultimately result in frivolous litigation.
I think that's ludicrous because obviously a pattern of discrimination would have to be shown. They said the same thing about women, blacks, anybody else. It would be no different. So I really don't think that's a concern.
And tonight, opponents of the ordinance still hope that Mayor Hood will veto that measure. She can do that within 24 hours of the vote. The city council would have to come up with 5 votes to overturn her veto. But in 10 years as mayor, Hood has never used her veto power on a major issue like this one, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
All right, Keith, thank you. Well, switching gears here, let's talk about the forecast.
Let's do that. Let's go over to Jim Van Fleet.
Well, I'll tell you what, take a look at these Christmas lights here. This is the Brennan Mills subdivision on Morning Glory in Lake Mary. You'll be seeing Christmas lights from your neighborhood from now until Christmas. In fact, If you have a house or a subdivision that's lit up very beautifully with the holiday spirit, give us a call at the Fox 35 studios. We'd love to come out and shoot it and show you and everyone in Central Florida the spirit of the holidays. It's a cold night out there. You already know that, but we've been running crawls across the screen again tonight like we did last night, letting you know our northern counties like Alachua and Marion do have a freeze warning tonight. This is where temperatures are expected to reach freezing or dip below for a period of 2 to 4 hours. You want to take care of the pets, make sure the vegetation that is tender is either covered or brought inside, and probably a good idea to not turn the sprinklers on tonight. Wait another night till those overnight lows will rebound, and they will do that, as you'll see in my forecast. Today, 71 for 71. That was Saturday's forecast. As I forecasted, that temperature is where we ended up at OIA, so that's 29 to 32 on the giveaways versus the number of corrects, so no giveaway for Saturday's forecast. We made a high of 69 in Orlando today, also in Melbourne and Winter Haven. Seems to be the number of choice once you go south of the I-4 corridor. 63 in Gainesville and 66 in Daytona Beach. Temperatures tonight range from 41 in Gainesville to 53 in Brevard County. Everyone else in between in the 40s and 50s, but not a whole lot of wind out there tonight to make it feel much colder. In fact, we're only averaging about 3 to 7 miles per hour in the wind speed. Satellite radar is pretty clear for us, and with calm winds, that is going to mean frost is very likely to develop across all of the Fox 35 viewing area, not just in the freeze warning counties that we've been talking about. So know that ahead of time, that you probably, again, doesn't matter if you're in Orange County or Alachua County, you probably don't want to water or turn those sprinklers on. If they're automated, you may want to flip them off for one night and just let Mother Nature do her work, and then tomorrow put the automation back on. The forecast for tomorrow will keep us in nice weather again, warm temperatures, but here comes a system that'll be knocking on the southeastern United States stores tomorrow. We will see it by late into the hours on Wednesday night, more so into Thursday in the forecast, and we'll show you that in a moment. 42, clear and calm tonight. 31 in Gainesville, 32 in Ocala. Then we'll see daytime high temperatures in the 70s. It'll be a pretty warm and beautiful day with partly cloudy skies late in the afternoon. Just be ready for a chilly start as the kids head to school and you head to work. Seas are flat tomorrow, 2 to 3 feet. Your winds are northeast at 10 knots, and the high tides at 6:48 in the morning. Next 7 days has 2 storm systems you need to know about. Overnight hours Wednesday into Thursday, where we'll see our best chance of rain. That brings our temperature down from 78 on Wednesday to a high of only 65 on Friday. Then we'll do it again Sunday night into Monday. It looks like 2 systems will be lining out in the southern United States, so it'll hit us with a little bit of a break in between for Friday and Saturday. But Thursday and Monday right now look like some pretty decent chances for rain. And the way the atmosphere is set up, could even see a couple thunderstorms, keeping in mind we're in a little bit of an El Nino year, so severe weather is possible in what is called our dry season right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain about some rain at all.
It'd be nice to get some rain. We could do without severe weather, though.
All right, thanks, Jim.
The space shuttle Endeavour has begun its long journey home. The crew said goodbye to the International Space Station this morning. Now, 1 American and 3 Russians who've spent the past 6 months in space are on their way home. Shuttle is due back to land on Wednesday. Bet they can't wait.
It's been a long time up there. Yeah, exactly. They want to come back home, don't they? Well, our cell phones driving us to distraction.
Coming up, scary details about accidents caused by mobile phones. 1 minute he was doing his job, the next he was trapped under mud and water. But first, why more older Americans are going back to work.
Coming up, if you can't live without your cell phone, we'll tell you what that might say about your personality. Coming up at 10:55.
Bartender, make a splash with Claudia?
We're gonna have to get rid of Nicole. I don't know, man. This could be a real draw.
Tonight at 8:30 on Fox 35.
Apu's going to be deported.
Their only crime was violating U.S. law.
Unless he can pass a crash course in citizenship from Professor Homer J. Simpson.
Now I'm going to go to bed while you look over my notes from 9th grade history. We should start all over with the electrical college.
The Simpsons.
Tonight at 6:30 on Fox 35.
Stork on 3.
Oh, please come here.
1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. 70. 71. 72. 73. 74. 75. 76. 77. 78. 79. 80. 81. 82. 83. 84. 85. 86. 87. 88. 89. 90. 91. 92. 93. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 99. 100. 101. 102. 103. 104. 105. 106. 107. 108. 109. 110. 111. 112. 113. 114. 115. 116. 117. 118. 119.
Peggy leads a field trip to Mexico
Walk in uno file, por favor.
and returns with an extra student.
Yo vivo en México.
Yes, long live Mexico.
Now she's in big trouble.
Did you rat me out? Did you? How much did they give you?
Next, King of the Hill.
Tonight at 6 on Fox 35.
Fox Tuesday. You're dating my math teacher?
I feel it's just awfully bad principle.
He doesn't care. He's dating the cheerleader.
You're invited to a Thanksgiving celebration. You're back, and you're not even 8 months pregnant. On an all-new That 70s Show.
Who likes dark meat?
Who doesn't? Am I right, ladies?
Tonight at 8 on Fox 35.
2 former American Express workers are accused of charging up $500,000 using stolen credit card numbers. The 2 women worked at the Amex regional office in Plantation. Police say they got the credit information from trusting customers. Now they're facing federal charges. The alleged crime was discovered by the company's fraud unit. This Cocoa Beach man was arrested over the weekend, charged with robbing the same 7-Eleven store twice. Officers claim Richard Meredith was supporting his crack habit. We're told he didn't use a weapon either time.
The United Airlines Mechanics Union announced today it will vote a second time on wage reductions rejected last week. The airline carrier says it needs to cut more than $5 billion company-wide to avoid bankruptcy. The vote will come tomorrow after mechanics, who vetoed the initial proposal by 57%, make some changes in that proposal. Well, our golden years are supposed to be a time for recreation and relaxation, right?
Right, but as Jennifer Graham reports, more and more Americans are now leaving retirement and jumping back into the workforce.
Pool and golf are some of Dudley Boger's favorite things to do, but to support his love of sports, he had to come out of retirement and go back to work.
I can't afford to take it out of the pension.
Dudley's not alone. According to a new study, 28% of retirees are returning to work.
A lot of times they're returning because they do need the benefits. They thought that they would be okay without it, or a spouse dies and they find that they're in a position where they have to return.
But it's not always money that motivates seniors to return to the workforce. For many, it's something to do. Older Americans now have more time on their hands since they are living longer lives.
Health-wise, it's better for them. Makes them forget about their arthritis and all the other things that come with it.
Older Americans re-entering the workforce is a trend that's expected to continue. Jennifer Graham, Fox 35 News.
The study also suggests that older Americans are in demand because of a shrinking pool of employee candidates.
Yeah, those shrinking 401ks don't help, do they?
They're great in the workforce, though. The biggest shopping weekend of the year is over.
So how did retailers do? And is there anything left on the shelf? And sick ships. How will a mysterious cruise illness affect the industry?
Been burned lately? Let's take it back. Make that choice. Do the right thing. You'll have it made in the shade. So before you take that leap, learn before you burn. Even a few serious sunburns can increase your risk of getting skin cancer. So, choose your cover.
A responsible driver is very careful about children and animals. And not only on the road. Antifreeze and other automotive fluids can be dangerous for children and pets who don't know that these colorful liquids are not for drinking. If you change any of these fluids yourself, be sure to keep them in their original containers, stored safely away from children and pets. Store used fluids the same way, and follow rules in your area for disposal or recycling. Clean up any spills immediately, and if your vehicle loses fluids, at home or away, wipe them up before pets can lick them.
Here, kid.
You want to take care. of your children and pets, as well as your car.
Let's take another look at stories making headlines in Central Florida tonight.
A 15-year-old boy is dead after he and a 17-year-old girl jumped off the Melbourne Causeway late this afternoon. The girl survived, but Douglas McKellar of Melbourne Beach died at the hospital tonight. The two jumped from the highest part of that bridge, about 55 feet above the Indian River. A local chapter of the NAACP voiced support for DELAND Police Chief William Anderson at a city commissioners meeting tonight. Anderson has received complaints from many of his own officers calling him a micromanager. The NAACP says he's just trying to modernize the police department. Anderson is the city's first black police chief. Gays, lesbians, and bisexuals were added to Orlando's anti-discrimination law tonight. By a vote of 4-3, the City Council added sexual orientation to the list of classes already protected by the city. The Carnival cruise ship Fascination pulled into a Miami port this morning with 190 people sick on board.
This, of course, just days after the Disney Magic ship unloaded sick passengers at Port Canaveral. How will this sickness affect the cruise industry and the businesses in the ports? Fox's Tina Patel reports.
Most people getting on cruises worry about little things like having enough sunscreen or film for their camera. But last week, when the cruise ship Amsterdam began making headlines because a stomach virus was going around, passengers began having different kinds of concerns.
First of all, I think because of the situation that the United States is in, you think possibly, was this put here purposely?
And that worry made Donna Fernandez think twice about boarding a cruise ship this weekend.
Sure, you doubt a little bit, but at the same time, I felt very confident that they're under really a telescope right now, and they're going to be checking everything.
There's an environmental officer who looks after anything that might be hazardous, and then of course you've got your housekeeping department, which are just constantly working.
Crew members aboard the Carnival Destiny say letting passengers know that and offering them bottled water to set their mind at ease is helping them get through this uneasy period.
I worked for a different company, Princess, and they had the same sort of thing happen back in 97 or 98, I think it was. And I mean, sure, it concerns you when you're on there at the time, but it's, you know, it's nothing. It's, you know, it's illness. It could happen to you no matter where you are.
But wherever you are, meaning at the port of calls? The Amsterdam was docked here last Monday, the Disney Magic on Wednesday. But despite the fact that hundreds of people aboard those two ships came down with the virus, officials with the West Indian Company say people on St. Thomas have no reason to worry. Local merchants are trying to stay optimistic.
I was very concerned because I was thinking that maybe it's something they ate on the island. But then when I spoke to passengers, they were not concerned. They were more concerned about where the ship was provisioned. Was it San Juan or Florida?
That question wasn't being asked a few weeks ago, but it doesn't appear to be hurting the industry, and it may actually be helping some local businesses.
What it's really doing is really having the people enjoy our island more. Because I'm encouraging them, you know, if you're nervous, enjoy our restaurants here on St. Thomas.
That's what Donna Fernandez has been doing, and she seems to be enjoying her vacation.
There's a lot of things out there that, you know, you think about. But don't let fear take over.
In St. Thomas, Tina Patel, Fox News.
Kind of cold out to be thinking about a cruise anyway. Thinking more about cozying up by the fire.
Yeah, it is. Hey, Jim's here with a look at what's going on outside. Jim?
Yeah, the afternoons are warm, but boy, once that sun sets the last couple nights, those temperatures drop, and all you probably think about is finding a jacket and getting inside to maybe even start a fire like folks up in the north of the state are probably doing, where it's 37 in Tallahassee right now. It's 53 here at home, 52 in Tampa, and 60 in Fort Myers. Forecasts will keep it cool tonight and clear with calm winds, so we will see some likely frost on all the lawns in the morning. Rain begins to move in around Pensacola and just west of Panama City tomorrow night. We will see it starting in the overnight hours Wednesday night, but more so on Thursday in your forecast. But in the meantime, a good-looking Tuesday for you. 42 in the morning with clear skies to start. We'll see temperatures warming up to 73, so the afternoon will be lovely, warm, and partly cloudy. We'll talk about the 7-day outlook and a look at your travel weather around the nation coming up in just a couple minutes as well.
Well, Christmas gifts for those with money to burn.
What would you ask for if you could have absolutely anything? But first, a water worker winds up in over his head.
Coming up, addicted to your cell phone? Find out what that reveals about your personality. Coming up at 10:55.
Fox Tuesday. You're dating my math teacher?
I feel it's just awfully bad principal.
He doesn't care. He's dating the cheerleader.
You're invited to a Thanksgiving celebration. You're back, and you're not even 8 months pregnant. On an all-new That 70s show.
Who likes dark meat?
Who doesn't? Am I right, ladies?
Tonight at 8 on Fox 35.
Peggy leads a field trip to Mexico
Walk in uno file, por favor.
and returns with an extra student.
Yo vivo en México.
Yes, long live Mexico.
Now she's in big trouble.
Did you rat me out? Did you? How much did they give you?
Next, King of the Hill.
Tonight at 6 on Fox 35.
Gossip. Divas.
Okay, please.
Backstabbing. One man with 2 women. But it's not a soap. It's good, clean fun.
It's Good Day Live.
It's from news to nonsense.
Today at noon on Fox 35.
Been burned lately? Let's take it back. Make that choice. Do the right thing. You'll have it made in the shade. So before you take that leap, learn before you burn. Even a few serious sunburns can increase your risk of getting skin cancer. So, choose your cover.
Fox Tuesday. You're dating my math teacher?
I feel it's just awfully bad principal.
He doesn't care. He's dating the cheerleader.
You're invited to a Thanksgiving celebration. You're back, and you're not even 8 months pregnant. On an all-new That 70s show.
Who likes dark meat?
Who doesn't? Am I right, ladies?
Tonight at 8 on Fox 35.
I said, get off, that's my account.
I told him no. I pay for the account.
I don't give you a right to invade the man's privacy.
Next, Judge Mathis. Today at 4 on Fox 35.
It is an alarming trend. Drivers talking on their cell phones caused more accidents and deaths last year.
Fox 35's Marissa Tejada has both sides of this conversation.
Georgina Moster's cell phone is on at all times. When she's driving, it's a convenience she loves.
Maybe I'm in a rush, don't have patience to go stop the car.
I'll be back like in 15 minutes.
She's not unusual. Chatting at any time en route is more commonplace, especially with new features from email to video capabilities.
A lot of people use a lot of this. A lot of the emails, the data. Data's getting more and more important for people.
Users have grown from 94 million in 2000 to more than 128 million. About a third of us have them. A new study released by the Harvard Center for Risk Analysis says 6% of auto accidents are caused by people talking on their phones, resulting in about 2,600 deaths and 330,000 injuries. Researchers say while the boom of drivers using phones out on the road most likely causes more deadly crashes, they say the cost of banning these isn't worth it. Not worth it to drivers who like the security of knowing emergency help is in the palm of their hands. But what about the financial costs?
I've just seen it cause too many accidents.
Insurers say wrecks cost about $43 billion. That's roughly the same amount it costs people to use their phones, and for the most part, the price of ownership is worth it.
I use it every day, when I'm driving, when I'm pretty much all the time.
Whether phone is considered a distraction, such as eating or reading, it is something the study says too valuable for people to stop. In Lake Mary, Marissa Tejada, Fox 35 News.
New York is the only state that outlaws cell phone use while driving. 34 other states are considering similar legislation.
A close call for a New Jersey water worker trying to fix a water main break this morning. The muddy walls inside the opening in the ground gave way while the worker was inside, trapping him for about an hour and a half. Despite the water and mud, firefighters were able to save him. He is now in fair condition. A fire at the former home of an Enron executive is raising suspicion. The $4 million Houston, Texas home was once owned by the bankrupt energy giant's chief financial officer, Andrew Fastow. While investigators say the fire was small, there is speculation that a gas can was found near the blaze.
He may be in prison, but colorful ex-Congressman James Traficant has not been forgotten. His family held an auction in Ohio Sunday. Some of the items included the congressman's desk, his stamp collection, and coffee mugs. Traficant was convicted of racketeering charges back in April and was later expelled from the house. No, she's not a girl.
At least not anymore. Why pop icon Britney Spears is celebrating tonight. But first, great news for stores, but is the retail trend good for you? Find out in just 2 minutes.
Apu's going to be deported.
Your only crime was violating U.S. law.
Unless he can pass a crash course in citizenship from Professor Homer J. Simpson.
Now I'm going to go to bed while you look over my notes from 9th grade history. We should start all over with the electrical college.
The Simpsons.
Tonight at 6:30 on Fox 35.
Go beyond with James Van Praagh.
I think this is going to be a show which is different than any other show out there. Every single person has had an experience of losing someone. So I would like to do this show to help those people realize there is no such thing as death. When you can alleviate the fear of death, you really begin to live life.
Beyond with James Van Praagh. Today at 1 on Fox 35. If you haven't seen 24, give me a name!
If you lay a hand on me, you'll be taken off the case.
This is the episode you must not miss.
You were going to tell me everything I want to know, and I will kill you.
24. Tonight at 9 on Fox 35.
A responsible driver is very careful about children and animals. And not only on the road. Antifreeze and other automotive fluids can be dangerous for children and pets who don't know that these colorful liquids are not for drinking. If you change any of these fluids yourself, be sure to keep them in their original containers, stored safely away from children and pets. Store used fluids the same way, and follow rules in your area for disposal or recycling. Clean up any spills immediately, and if your vehicle loses fluids, at home or away, wipe them up before pets can lick them. You want to take care of your children and pets, as well as your car.
The big shopping weekend is over, and retailers say turnout was bigger than expected. So could that mean a shortage on the shelves? Our Beth Sherman has some answers.
Shop till you drop or you run out of money. Post-Turkey Day sales have been solid, but some retailers say they were afraid of getting stuck with merchandise, and that affected how much they ordered.
A little bit more skeptical about that they weren't going to go as heavy with, buying as much product up front.
But Bain says a variety of items are selling, and they have time to reorder. 2 big shipments are coming in this week. Now, there are some bare spots, and the dolls with a passion for fashion are hot.
This is a really great doll. The Bratz doll's been very, very popular. Sold right out when it was on ad. We've just started getting it back in stock.
As for Harry,
he didn't die down that much between movies, and now that the second movie is out, he's big again.
He says clothes were surprisingly a big seller as well. Now over at Toys R Us,
they were looking for the bargains, but they were also really looking at our learning section. It's probably one of the largest here in the area.
Whether it's toys to learn with or just play with,
But I know what I like on TV.
Retailers say waiting to the last minute may not be the smartest move, just in case the supply can't meet the demand. In Volusia County, Beth Sherman, Fox 35 News.
Analysts say discount stores like Walmart and Target had the greatest success, with department stores and clothing chains meeting modest sales goals.
Even with Santa's help, the U.S. Postal Service is expecting a busy holiday season. They expect to deliver about 20 billion pieces of mail in the next few weeks. The Postal Service says it's ready for the rush. It's added 44 cargo jets and hundreds of extra trucks. The busiest mailing day is expected to be December 16th. Note to self, avoid that day. Christmas spirit has reached the White House. The First Lady presented this 18.5-foot noble fir, which will be decorated with nearly 400 ornaments from across the nation. The Christmas tree will be on display in the Blue Room.
I wanted to see the tree. It was laying down. Well, holiday weather has certainly arrived, hasn't it?
We had some cold temperatures this weekend, but some are dealing with a real wintry mess, Jim.
That's right. Police in Michigan, take a look at this video, said over the weekend, especially on Sunday, that snow and whiteout conditions were to blame for a 20-car pileup on a major interstate. State police shut down part of Interstate 75 in Sheboygan County for several hours and had to reroute traffic. Troopers say the first crash happened about 1 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time near Indian River. Then they say the accident soon turned into a huge pileup when other drivers couldn't stop in time. Thankfully, no serious injuries were reported. And of course, many parts of northern Michigan blanketed with about 5 to 6 inches of snow from this weekend's storm system. Nothing like that in the southeast United States, not even in our state, but even neighboring states like Georgia and Alabama. But we have some systems that will be heading our way in the next 24 hours. First temperatures tonight, we're at 11 above in Minneapolis, 14 in Detroit, 45 in the nation's capital, and 48 in Atlanta. Milder temperatures on the west coast in the 50s as well. Now, as you notice on the satellite and radar, a couple things happening here. We still have a lot of snows coming off of the Great Lakes affecting folks from Ohio to New York tonight. But this system in the southeast over Baja California, Mexico, and the southwestern United States, that is energy that's coming off of the Pacific that's going to merge with a cold front tomorrow. As the two energies come together, they will start working their way across the southern United States. Tomorrow, it's the southern plains, and maybe even around Arkansas and Louisiana in the form of thunderstorms. Snow starting from Nebraska northward on up into the Dakotas, but that is going to mean rain and thunderstorms here at home by Thursday as that system gets close to us. 28 in Tallahassee tonight, 59 in Miami. In between, we'll see 30s and 40s. Then your daytime high temperatures under sunny to partly cloudy skies in the 70s. We'll talk more about your rain chances in that 7-day forecast. It's just a couple minutes away.
If Santa said he'd bring you anything in the world for Christmas, what would you ask for? Fox's Trace Gallagher shows us what's on the list for some of the world's most rich and famous.
Forget 70% off. Ever wonder what you could give your loved ones this Christmas if money was no object? How about a 9-carat yellow diamond flanked by 2 1-carat diamonds?
It actually retails for $1.2 million. So it's a perfect little stocking stuffer.
This necklace contains 33 diamonds, weighing in at 13.9 carats, and a briolet diamond drop accent. Yours for a cool $1 million.
This is an exclusive collection for Barney's. It's called Gouillard from Paris.
Barney's spokeswoman Sharon Taylor says this is actually a pet bag, complete with matching leash. It's reportedly popular with celebrities. Neiman Marcus's Virtue phone runs anywhere from $6,100 to $190,000, depending on the model. The phone upgrades itself and provides worldwide concierge service.
So if you're here in LA and you're flying out to New York the next day, just hit your concierge button and you can get the reservation at the hottest restaurant out in New York.
If adventure is what you're looking for, the Robb Report recommends the $350,000 Daimler Chrysler Maybach 62 sedan, a 24-day America's Cup vacation, or this $80 million submarine.
A 213-foot submarine with 5,000 square feet of living space, has a gourmet kitchen and complete accommodations, can dive to a depth of 1,000 feet.
For travel above sea level, you can always put the Hummer 2 under the tree, provided it's a Redwood. The Mammoth post-military hybrid sports its own DVD player, 22-inch wheels, and room for 6. But don't count on getting a good view of that subcompact behind you. Hoping my wife doesn't see this story, in Los Angeles, Trace Gallagher, Fox News.
A submarine. Who'd have thunk it?
Go down to 1,000 feet. Love it.
Well, you see them in grocery stores and airports, restaurants, even at the movies.
Cell phones are everywhere these days. Seem like an epidemic? According to new research, it just might be.
Kelly Clarkson, John Leguizamo, and the Wonder Couple, Ben and J-Lo, in the hazy prenuptial glare of the Fox light. Was Kelly Clarkson missing from your Thanksgiving table? Mine either. According to a Teen People magazine poll, she's the #1 person people would have liked to have drop by their Thanksgiving dinner. Can't they come up with someone a little more famous than that? #2 was a little more interesting. Imagine Grandma's reaction to Kelly Osbourne. Pass the bleepin' mashed potatoes. And at number 4, another family pleaser, M&M. What rhymes with cranberry jello mold? John Leguizamo plays a drug dealer in Empire and says, yes, he did research with real drug dealers, and it was scary because everyone kept looking over their shoulders for cops. Leguizamo says you can't tell the cops you're researching a role because after Winona Ryder, that excuse doesn't work anymore. Finally, she kicked a little butt in Enough, but would J-Lo do the same for her new man? A special video game thinks she would. Jen Saves Ben has Affleck being captured by ninjas. J-Lo has to kick her way to his rescue. Maybe she pretends they're production assistants. Anyway, this one-off game was a gift from Jersey Girl director Kevin Smith to the new couple. And sorry, it won't be in stores anytime soon. But you can get a goofy sneak peek at mattdamonfanpage.com. And that's the always kicking and screaming world of celebrity couples, real and imagined, in the warm holiday glare of the Fox light. I'm Bill McCuddy, Fox News.
More entertainment news. Pop star Britney Spears is 21 today. Spears has been on a break from performing since September. No word on how she's celebrating, but it probably won't be at her New York restaurant. She severed ties with the business 5 months after signing on as co-owner. Well, bad boy rock group Oasis is in trouble with the law. German police say the lead singer and 3 other band members were arrested Sunday after a fight with guests in a Munich nightclub. The 4 were released, but a concert the city had scheduled for Sunday was canceled. Well, does it seem like your cell phone is glued to your ear?
Maybe you're a cell phone addict, and that could say a lot about your personality. Fox's Kristen Lang has more.
You do it all the time, in the car, on the street, even at work. Gab on the cell. Here in Southern California, it's everywhere. Cell phone addiction. People are practically glued to their mobile phones.
It's kind of like the cell phone becomes like your best friend.
But is this really as harmless as it seems? Dr. Joan Lane doesn't think so.
I think we need to call it an addiction.
If you're constantly reaching for the wireless, Lane says you may have what psychologists call an addictive personality.
It's a need for constant stimulation, and people who suffer from it can become addicted to just about anything.
Food, cigarettes, alcohol, even exercise. Stuff she calls fillers. All ways to avoid coping with real feelings.
When someone can't handle the feelings they're having and they reach to something else to make themselves feel better.
And with the new millennium comes new addictions. Now, instead of Twinkies or Marlboros, people are reaching for Palm Pilots, spending hours on the internet, and of course talking on the ever-popular cell phone. Hey, Katie Jones, a busy music rep, burns through a cell battery a day.
I'm sure I really don't need to talk on it that much.
She admits her need to chat with friends is often out of control.
I'm never without it, and I'm always checking it and always on it.
Katie's not alone. A recent study shows most Americans are racking up a staggering number of minutes not doing business, but just talking to friends.
I feel I need to check in with everybody, and you know, there might be some underlying meanings that I just haven't figured it out yet.
But how do you know when you've crossed the line from outgoing to addict? Dr. Lane says before you make that next call, stop and think about why you're really reaching for your cell.
The next time I have that urge to reach for the phone, I'm going to think to myself, what is this call really about? Do I really need to make this call, or is it filler because I'm feeling anxious?
Well, here's another look at stories making headlines in Central Florida tonight.
A 15-year-old boy is dead after he and a 17-year-old girl leaped from the Melbourne Causeway late this afternoon. She survived, but Douglas McKellar of Melbourne Beach died at the hospital tonight. The two jumped from the highest point of the bridge. That's about 55 feet above the Indian River. Police say they still aren't sure why they jumped. A local chapter of the NAACP voiced support for DELAND Police Chief William Anderson at a city commissioners meeting tonight. Anderson has received complaints from many of his own officers calling him a micromanager. The NAACP says he is just trying to modernize the police department. Anderson is the city's first black police chief. Gays, lesbians, and bisexuals were added to Orlando's anti-discrimination law tonight. By a vote of 4-3, the city council added sexual orientation to the list of classes already protected by the city.
Pretty wintry out there.
Yes, it's going to be a cold one tonight under clear skies and light winds, down to 42, but a beautiful and a warm day tomorrow. 73 for the high, even warmer on Wednesday, ahead of the next system, which will bring rain most likely on Thursday, and that'll clear us out and cool us down again for Friday.
Looking
so
forward to
we'll go back
tomorrow.
and forth on those temperatures, but nice tomorrow.
All right,
Thanks, Jim.
Good night, everyone.
Fox Tuesday. You're dating my math teacher?
I feel it's just awfully bad principle.
He doesn't care. He's dating the cheerleader.
You're invited.